Welcome, I'm Darren, and I'll be your guide today as I rank the 1993 rookie card designs that just didn't quite make the mark. Now, when I talk about rookie cards, what I'm talking about are the cards that are the rookie card for each player in each set. So I'm not talking about additional subsets. This is the card that stands as the rookie card in each case. So there's got to be kind of an iconic quality to it. And for me, the big thing is it's got to be a celebration of a rookie. Because look, in 1993, most of the rookie cards, they were pretty much just basic cards. They may have like a rookie logo on it. They may be in their college uniform. But for the most part, it's just, hey, they're in the league. Here's their first card. And to me, while that's nice enough, and some of the cards do look good, it's also pretty boring because I look at it and I go, look, this guy is supposed to come and save the franchise. He's going to have a great career, et cetera, et cetera. Maybe, maybe not. But let's get excited. Let's do something special about it. And so those are the rookie cards I really have fun with, and that's what I want to look at here. I want to look at the rookie cards that are designed specially to celebrate rookies, that are a classic rookie card. But in the case of this particular list, these are the ones that they tried it, but they didn't quite hit the mark. And there are 11 cards that I pulled aside to look at. So that means there are 5 at the top, 5 at the bottom, 1 in the middle. And I'm going to be looking at that 1 in the middle with this list as opposed to the best of. I've got something else I want to talk about there. So that's the way that I have it laid out. And also I got to note that I don't like to do hockey and baseball because is the player a draft pick rookie, a prospect? Where is it that all that lines up? How often is there a rookie card that's not a rookie card because he already appeared on another card? So I try to kind of avoid that, but in the case of 1993, there were enough really interesting and unique baseball card designs that I had to go ahead and talk about a few of them. So we're going to see a few on this list. But those are the parameters of how I'm going to be looking at this list. And so like I said, for the honorable mention, I'm looking at a card that's halfway between the two. And it's actually one of my favorites. It's Action Packed. And the thing with Action Packed is, this I don't rank the best of and worst of because of this is my favorite, this is my least favorite. I do it because this is the card I think is the best, this is the card I think is the worst. And so as much as I love the Action Packed cards, because they are really cool, it also has some issues. And this is a card that doesn't beat around the bush at all. This is as straightforward and honest as you're possibly going to find. It is a card that screams at the top of its lungs, look at me, I'm a rookie card. That's all it is. That's all it does. And it's all it needs to do. That's what I love about this card. Whenever I look at this card, I get excited. It jumps out. It's got that gold foil or silver foil if it's the second round, or even with the late round, the baby blue for those actually still look pretty interesting. But with the ones with the foil is an overpowering element, but it doesn't overpower because of that big image. Also because of how the card is designed, but that big image of the player, that is so forward on these cards. They are among the most forward pictures of rookies on cards. This card is just an absolute screaming statement, and that's what I love about it. Every time I come upon these cards, I get excited because it's a cool card and it's a great image of the player. And then it gets a little bit too overpowering, and that's the problem the card has, is it doesn't have any staying quality. It gets bored in a hurry. But the initial statement that I get, the initial feeling I get every time I look at the card is so much fun. It's so exhilarating. And so I really do like the card. But I also have to admit, it's not designed for me to have a long-term appreciation for it. That's why I have it here. But again, I would rather put this on the best of list, but I got something else to talk about, so it goes here. So the 5 that I have for the cards that didn't work, I think all are cases where they didn't work. Starting with the Upper Deck Baseball Top Prospects. The card isn't that bad. It's got a nice gold print at the bottom, not gold foil. It's got gold print at the bottom, and then pretty much it's just an image above that. And that's where the strength of the card comes, because there's just enough of a hint of this is something about rookies, and then it allows the picture to do all the heavy lifting. And in the case of Derek Jeter, that's pretty successful. The problem is that, one, you got to have a picture that really carries, and again, in the case of Derek Jeter, it does that. But two, there's just not much else to the card. It is designed to be very simple, and if this was a regular subset card, which technically it is, but if it was just another subset card, I wouldn't mind it so much. But for a card that's supposed to be the big celebration of this player's career, this card doesn't do enough. There's something else that I want to have happen, because it feels like Upper Deck had a quota of 8 subsets, and it just said, we'll do this one, we'll do this one, we'll do this. It feels like a secondary design. I want something more bold, more powerful, more exhilarating, and that's what the Top Rookies card does, as opposed to the Top Prospects. So this card, it's nice enough, but it really, really wants to be something better, and it's not. For number 4, I'm going with the Pacific. Although now I have to specify for Pacific Football. And the Pacific Football cards I like, and I would love to have it in a better position on this list. But the reason I have it here is because I have to, at the end of the day, understand that, look, I understand how to read these cards. And that's the problem. Pacific in 1993 is a really cool set because it is very bold, and it's very bold. And another word you could use for it is very bold. I mean, this card set is really trying to be the loudest thing in the room, and it even overpowers Action Packed, the Action Packed Rookies. These cards have that bold team color on both of the 2 team colors on each card, and the marble is really cool. All of that stuff's great. And then you get to the end of the set, and the rookies have 4 colors. It's kind of haphazard. It's not related to the teams, but then again, the college uniforms are not related to the team. And even though they have college uniforms, I don't mind, because I understand the set. I understand how to see these cards. And when I look at the cards, I know how to really enjoy them. But I know how to do that. Most people don't. If you looked at this card and said, oh, so that's what the classic draft pick rookies for football, that's what those look like, right? I wouldn't mind it, even though, it does say Pacific on it. But apart from that, it really does look like what Classic would have been doing at this time. So I wouldn't be surprised if you thought that. And that's the problem. It doesn't really look like a pro card. There's nothing about it that really works for a pro card. So I like it simply because I know how to see it. But if you don't know how to see it, I don't think it's going to be a success. So that's what I've got at number 4. For number 3, I'm going to the card that it'll probably get the most pushback for why it's on this list, which is Upper Deck SP Baseball. And Upper Deck SP, it had a similar problem to Select, which is in the case of both of these, when they launched in baseball, they were pretty good. But they both, one of them was pretty good, the other one was not pretty good, but both of them got improved for the football release. SP didn't get much of an improvement. Select got a ton of improvement. But where with SP, it was very clear was with the rookies. And I know what the football rookies look like. I'm not going to show it to you here because that's going to be on the other video. But if it wasn't for those football rookies, I would probably have this in a better spot because I know how good it could have and should have been. In this case, it actually has a lot of really good things. I think the images are good, and all the detailing is a lot of fun. The problem is, it's got that mirrored silver foil that completely covers the card and overpowers the card. This is a card where part of the time it's super boring because there's no background, and part of the time you can't see the player because the whole background overpowers. Essentially, to make the card look right, you've got to break the card from doing what it's designed to do, which is to shine light in your face. And so if you got to break the card to make it work, that's not a good sign. And again, it's such a well-crafted card from a well-crafted set, but they made such a big blunder in terms of why in the world did anybody think that that big field of mirrored silver foil was at all going to work. I mean, I would almost say that if it had a prism background, it might have worked better. I actually think that would be the case. So this is a card that really should have been better, but it absolutely wasn't. And I think in the middle of this list is really the right place for it to be. Which brings me to number 2. As we windshield wiper back and forth, we get back to football for the Skybox Premium set. And for here, this is a card that I'm always surprised because I look at it and I go, oh yeah, this is such a nice card. And then it doesn't take me long until I go, yeah, this is not a nice card. It's just not. It has a couple of the things going for it to really make it work well. It's just that all of these components that do work well would work well if there were other things holding it up, and this was just kind of the thing that didn't quite work. I do love the logo, the way that the premium logo works. I think it's a cool effect, but it is something where because of the finicky nature of the lighting, it's not all that great. That black stripe up one side is just dumb. That was a 92 thing. I wish that they had already figured out that it didn't work. It does work well to stand out as rookies in the set, and that's where I feel that it actually works, but that's the only way it works because you look over at basketball. Here with this basketball card, it has a banner hanging and it is perfect. It is absolutely perfect. You shift over to the football rookies and it is the exact opposite. Weights down one side, doesn't really do anything. If other elements on the card worked better, okay, maybe. But then you have that gold background, and the gold background is a nice enough idea, but there's nothing interesting about that color. And then on top of that is the college uniforms, which means this is a failure on every single level. Any one of these elements except the college uniform could have worked perfectly fine on a better designed card, but because it's all of these things, nothing works, and that's the problem I have with this card. Is it is just a huge clunker of a card. So, I just can't put it anywhere else other than 2, mainly because at number 1, this is hands down the worst, Select. And like I said, with SP, Select would improve dramatically going into football. But where with SP, the baseball set you look at and you go, okay, you can make some improvements on it, but it is good. In the case of Select, it's what in the world were they thinking? You can't even say they were looking at Pro Set and trying to use that as a model, because the 1992 Pro Set Power Set was far better than the Select set in baseball in 1993. I don't get why this happened the way that it did, but at any rate, with these rookie cards, I don't mind the hatch marks at the top and the bottom. That's not too bad. This card is all about the problem of the picture. And here with Derek Jeter, it doesn't look that bad because he's floating through the air because he's jumped up in the air. Okay, decent enough. I mean, the clouds look wrong. It looks like he's jumped up off of a trampoline. It's such a craning shot in order to make sure there's like no trees or anything like that. It's really strange. But when you go through a lot of these cards, some of the cards, because they're jumping in the air, maybe. But it's the ones where they're actually standing on the ground, but there's no ground. It's clouds behind. It's so dumb. Absolutely dumb. When Skybox launched in 1990 with their cool background behind the pictures of the players, a lot of people complained because the players were floating in air, and that didn't quite look right. But it had kind of a computer effect kind of quality, kind of like somebody is actually in a computer system where there is no gravity or whatever. It kind of had that look to it, which was kind of cool. And then we also saw, like with Fleer, they would oftentimes have a picture of a player against just a background that's a color. That's not that bad. The problem here is it's a player in front of a picture. And that's the thing, is you look at it and it just doesn't make sense. It's such a jarring mess, it's not the way the Select cards were, because the Select cards were actually well designed. They just weren't well crafted. In this case, it was just a stupid idea, pure and simple. And I hate the way that they look, and every time I look at them, I just go, why did you bother? That's what I got to come up with here. Now for football, we're going to be seeing that on the other list, and so thankfully that's the case. They radically improved it. But for baseball, yeah, this didn't work. So that's my list of the worst rookie card designs for 1993. So I am going to do the best of next week, so definitely check that out. And if you haven't seen the other ranking videos I've been doing, definitely check those out. Do subscribe if you haven't done so already. And thank you very much for watching.